pick it up, cause it's ready, it's ready, ready, yeah, it's ready, it's ready, ready, yeah, it's ready, it's ready, ready, baby, come and join me for a hot bowl of
Show is ready.
Today I want to share a podcast with you. It's probably the most impactful podcast I've listened to, like in a long while, if not forever. The name of the podcast is called Quest. The host is Tom Bilyeu. He interviews this extraordinary woman. She's an African American who's a single mom, and she just built a multi-million-dollar business just out of her pure grit. When I get back to my computer, I'm gonna show you clips. I've had such a busy day running around. I'm only getting to film my video now. What I wanted to talk about was what I mentioned earlier about podcasts I was listening to about Lisa Nichols. The Quest podcast introduces Lisa Nichols very well, but I'm gonna give you just a very short 5-second introduction. Lisa Nichols now runs a motivational company called Motivating the Masses. She has written 7 best-selling books, but the real story and what captured me was her humble and honestly very difficult beginnings. How she just grinded through everything and just pushed her way through everything. She's not a person that came from a privileged life. There are several key points that really resonated with me, really touched me, and I just want to share them with you. But I really recommend that you listen to the entire podcast or watch the interview on YouTube. I'll link both of those links below. And she has this quote, "You want to make me extraordinary so that you can let yourself off the hook." Which is so powerful. It's like we want to look at someone we admire and want to be like and say that's because they have this, and I can never be like that because I don't have this and that. But a lot of times we say that just so that we can let ourselves off the hook. We can tell ourselves that, oh, we can't do that anyway, so why try?
And so when you start thinking like that, Tom, all of a sudden everything is possible. So I disrupt people when I say, you want to make me extraordinary, because it lets you off the hook.
God, that's good.
Because it lets you off the hook. You get to play like, oh, well, if I had it like her. No. What if you do? What if you do? What if the God that we call God, the divine, whatever your faith is, what if there's no partial? It's not going to give me a hookup and not give you one. Not going to give me an opportunity and not give you one. I'm just going to go after it. If I die, I'm going to die on a treadmill, like Will Smith said. I'm going to be on the treadmill running. I'm just not going to stop, because I believe all things are available to us. I'm just willing to go after them. Are you willing? And then...
Or how she had to wrap her baby in a blanket because she didn't have money to buy diapers. She hit her version of rock bottom, and how she was able to admit to herself that it was not okay. And she can't give herself the excuse that she has always been this way, which is a very, very powerful message.
And I run out of money, and I had to buy Pampers for Jelani. And I had $11.42 in the bank. And I remember wrapping my son in a towel for 2 days. Someone said, because when I tell the story, I always get teary-eyed. And someone said, do you fabricate the tears because you've told the story so much? No, I'm a mama. Every time I tell the story, I feel it again. I remember the second day, like you said, I had my hand on Jelani's stomach, and I said, don't worry, baby. Mommy will never be this broke or broken again. And that day, what shifted for me was I was willing to completely die to any form of me that I had been, so that I can birth the woman that I was becoming. The reason why a lot of people won't become who they want is because they're too attached to who they've been. And you hear it all the time when people say, I've always been this way. Okay, well, if that's working for you, keep doing that.
Another thing she says is that we'll run or we'll drive fast, we'll speed when we're late for work, but we won't run fast, we won't run hard for our own life's dream. We'd run hard for someone else's dream.
And UPS is not going to come to your door saying, hello, I have a life for you. Please sign here. You got to go out.
They're not coming?
Right, they're not coming. They're not coming. You got to go out the door, put on your best running shoes, get your back strong, and go after it and run after it like you're late for work. Like, we'll run if we're late for work, run for someone else's dream harder than we'll run for ours.
It is such an extraordinary podcast, and you have to listen to it, like right away. And I'll leave you with the links.
See, we're not supposed to tuck our dreams in on the pillow when we get up in the morning. We're not supposed to leave them at home and go and fulfill somebody else's dream. We're not supposed to do that. That's not what we're wired to do. That's not who we are. Your human spirit doesn't care about the economy. Your human spirit simply says, what's our command for tomorrow? What do you want to create?